Hello everybody, Chris here, and in this video I wanted to give you my top 10 Android apps leading into April of 2017. Now this list isn't in any particular order, but all of the apps are ones that I use regularly, up to date of course, and I think that each of them are going to be useful for a lot of different people out there for different reasons. It's kind of a variety list because these are the apps that I personally use on a near daily basis. So to get things started, I want to show you guys Podkicker. There's both a free version that has ads and then the pro version, which you can pay $2 for, that has no ads, of course. So the idea of Podkicker is that you have a bunch of podcasts that you like to listen to, and you can add them, basically, you click this add button, you search for the podcast, it finds it out there on the internet, and you add it in here where it will manage all those podcasts for you, keep track of which episodes you've listened to, which ones you haven't, update this episodes list over here when you get the latest podcast updates. So as podcasts roll in, they'll show up on updates, and you can download them straight to your device or listen to them using streaming. And like when a podcast is done being listened to, you can set up additional options like to have it automatically delete from the device or to stick around or some other things. But basically, it's a podcast manager for Android, and I have no complaints about it, really. It's served me well over the years, and it's a great tool for listening to podcasts while you're on the go, for sure. Okay, next up, PayPal. Now, I'm not really going to log in and show you all my bank account information and that kind of thing, but PayPal is basically like having a secondary online digital bank account. You can do transactions in your local currency, whether that's dollars or something else. And the idea is basically just that you can manage it not only from your web browser, but also your mobile devices. And the PayPal app for Android is actually quite slick. It makes it really easy to send and receive money and to look at your data. It's well designed, and it's a pretty good tool. If you don't already know, the PayPal transaction fee, if you're sending money, is something like 3%. So it's not, it does cost something, but then again, it would be kind of like that if you were withdrawing money from the ATM or possibly using credit cards or that kind of thing too. I don't think there's any PayPal fees if you're buying stuff on Amazon, but it's a really solid tool. Definitely, and the PayPal app is very professional and well designed. So next up, LastPass. Probably everybody has heard of the idea of having Firefox or Chrome remember your passwords while you're on your Windows machine, but those are generally considered to be pretty insecure ways of managing your passwords, because if someone just walks up on your computer and knows where to find that file where your passwords are stored, they can open it all up in plain text, and that's not good. With LastPass, you can have it so that every so often it kind of locks your account, and when you log into your computer, you also have to log into LastPass as well. And you just have to remember your master password for the program, basically, and then it can take care of managing all of your other passwords. So it is a password manager. And having tried a couple out there, like 1Password, I do think LastPass is the superior one at the moment. I think previously their Android version was premium only, but it seems to have gone free to play or free to use, so I'm not sure exactly what's up with that. But basically you can fill in your passwords automatically as you're browsing around or logging into different apps, like if you want to log into the PayPal app, LastPass could put in the information automatically. So it's very handy, and it's generally considered more secure than the traditional way of just having your browsers remember the passwords without having that extra layer of security. So it's a solid choice if you're concerned about that at all. So next up is Avira Antivirus. Of course, antivirus is a very personal choice that you kind of have to make for yourself. But what I like about the Avira on Android is that for free, you can actually install a lot of this extra stuff. So you get the antivirus, and then you can put on anti-theft, secure browsing, and some other stuff. Which is just a lot of things that you're getting in your package for free. I'm also currently using Avira on my Windows PC, and I don't really have any major problems with it. Of course, there are other very competitive antiviruses out there. I don't mean to make Avira sound like the best one, period. AVG, Avast, yeah, I mean, there's options out there. So it's kind of up to you on what you want. But I think what makes Avira nice on Android is just the amount of stuff you're getting for it for free. And of course, they do have premium packages if you need even more stuff for like a full, complete suite. Next up is Spotify. So with Spotify, you can basically listen to music as long as you're in one of the nations that supports it, but probably if you're listening to me in English, you'll be good to go for that. So it can help make recommendations on what kind of music you might want to listen to. It gives you a weekly Discover Weekly thing where it just basically compiles a list of here's the music that's like what you've been listening to. And then you can go through that. You can add some of those to your own list. And with the free version of Spotify, all you have to do is listen to ads. You can pay premium in order to remove all the ads, up to you. But I think Spotify is probably the best music streaming app out there. And they do continuously have many new artists added to them. Even some of the obscure ones I was pretty surprised to find on Spotify. So, great app. Really cool. Next up, File Manager. Now, I think there's a few that have the same name in this app store, but this is the one I'm going with at the moment. Basically, if you look at one of the top 3 ones, they're going to be solid, but having a file manager installed in your device is going to be really handy because you can browse through all your files, your downloads, find things that are lost somewhere on your device. And Android does do a good job of keeping track of where things are generally, but if you ever need to get down to the actual hierarchy of your device, this is a great way to do it. You can just browse through everything, find the files you're looking for, move them around, all that other kind of stuff, very similar to a Windows File Explorer, except now you have it on your mobile device. Very recommended. Okay, so next up, VLC Media Player. Good chance you've heard of it on Windows as well. Actually, it's cross-platform, so I think you can use it on Linux, and I would assume Mac as well. And VLC Media Player, just kind of, it's always got a simple, lightweight interface, but it usually is very compatible and fast running when it comes to playing your videos back. Kind of similar on the Android devices. You have all the tools, but there's not a lot of bloated stuff here. And yeah, if you need a media player to play back some local videos that you've downloaded or been sent by your friends, I think VLC Media Player is just a very solid choice in general. And that also applies for Windows. Okay, next up, CyberGhost 6. So there's free and premium versions of this, of course, but the free version of CyberGhost on your Android device is actually quite nice as well. You can see here it basically says, well, you can have the Pro version free for 7 days, but I would argue that the free version is just fine. I believe on Windows, what they've been doing is having a queue, but on the Android device, basically you just click, you don't get to choose where your VPN goes off to. It just gives you a location, but it sets up within probably 10 seconds or so. So the idea with CyberGhost is that it's a VPN, virtual private network, where you put your computer behind another server while you're connecting to the internet. And in addition to basically hiding your IP and changing the web-facing location of your computer in the world, which is good for things like using services where basically it requires you to be in a certain region, you're not in that region, but if you use a VPN, you can fake being in that region. But it also, CyberGhost specifically helps to do things like block malicious content, and just the fact that it's a free program, that it connects very fast, and you don't have to wait in the queue like you do on Windows for the free version. It's just a really quite valuable tool to have on your Android devices, I would say. And given that you can access it by free, if you need a VPN, this is the one I would currently go with. And then lastly, I want to show you guys Creo, which is a game, and I don't normally put games on a list like this because really you're looking for apps. But a lot of people do play games on their Android devices. I would hazard to say maybe even most people have 1 or 2 games installed. And as you can pretty much see, if you've ever played a Pokemon game, This is very, very, very similar. It kind of follows the same formula. You could kind of call it like a fan-made Pokemon game, but they change basically all the copyrighted stuff so that they can actually do this. But it's really nice because, well, basically, it's like $free/$1 on the Android store. And normally when you buy like a Pokemon game, you gotta pay like $40. And this is a really cool fan-made game that I would say is quite comparable. So it's like, if you want to play Pokemon on an Android device, this is as close as you get to it without doing emulation. And it's really solid. Having played most of the Pokemon games, I would say that it's pretty comparable. So if that's your cup of tea, then I would definitely try this. Remember, there's a free version that has extra ads in it, but then the premium Pro version is only $1 more. I've been having quite a lot of fun with it the past month or so. So that's going to be it for this top 10 list on Android apps in leading up to April 2017. I've been Chris, and I hope you found this video going through that list to be helpful, informative, and hopefully a bit fun too. So until my next video content, I will see you guys in the future.